Well, hello everyone.
Hello, what's going on today?
Hey, another edition of Hubie and Fallati talking sports here at Nissan of Cool Springs. Of course, I am Hubie, your pal, Paul Huber, and we're here with
Eric Fallati. Hello.
All right, Eric and I are going to continue to break down the NCAA men's basketball tournament. We're going to jump right in, Eric. We're going to talk about the Sweet 16. Not every game, but a couple of the key points. Kansas State defeating Kentucky. I said when this all started that Kansas State was a team to watch.
And you were right. I mean, Kentucky must have thought after the top four teams in the South bracket were all eliminated. I believe that Kentucky at that point had the inside track to the Final Four. But Kansas State evidently read the press clippings and they said, we're here for the same reason you are. And I also have to commend Kansas State for not being intimidated by that pro-Kentucky crowd. They went out there and they got the job done.
Well, they had already they played but lost to Kansas in the Big 12 final, and so they were battle tested. That's for sure.
They were, yeah.
All right, moving on to another game, the shocker, the game nobody expected to even see. Loyola Chicago defeating Nevada, who was another team I said to watch for.
And both teams were for real. I mean, Nevada was very excited about being in the Sweet 16, but Loyola Chicago, I got to tell you, they are on a mission that nobody even believed was going to come close to happening.
That's right, and they have their secret weapon on the sideline.
Sister Jean.
Sister Jean. So like they said in Animal House, or the Blues Brothers, excuse me.
Right.
We're on a mission from God. So another couple of games from the Sweet 16. Florida State defeating Gonzaga. The Kentucky loss and Gonzaga losing. Those were my bracket busters.
Yeah, well, I'm sure your brackets weren't the only one that got busted with those teams getting beat. I think Florida State realized they had a challenge on their hands with Gonzaga having been the national runners-up last year. Mm-hmm. Florida State knew that they could open some eyes by beating Gonzaga, and they did, and they looked impressive in doing so.
Yeah, they looked really good. And then finally, Villanova, number one seed, beat West Virginia. West Virginia, that was kind of an upset. People were calling, and then Michigan defeating Texas A&M.
Well, that's really comes as no surprise. I mean, I think Texas A&M might have gone into that game a little overconfident, having just knocked off the defending national champion North Carolina Tar Heels in unbelievable easy fashion in the second round.
Yeah, they made it look easy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They did, but Michigan plays great defense, and I think that's what got them over the hump against A&M.
That's right. Moving forward to the Elite Eight, Duke and Kansas, with Kansas winning in the Midwest final.
Well, I'm not surprised that Kansas won this game for two reasons. Number one, they are a self-motivated team. You have to know college basketball to know what I meant by that.
That's right, Bill Self.
Bill Self, yes. And also, I think Kansas was out to prove, even though they are Kansas and they have a tradition of getting to this point, Kansas hasn't been there since 2012, so they were ready to play. I think Duke outplayed them up to the final 3 minutes, but that's where Kansas really got caught on fire.
Yep.
And they got it done.
And then, as expected, Villanova defeated Texas Tech in the East Final. That was pretty much a no-brainer.
That's pretty much the only game I saw all weekend that really came as has no surprise, because Villanova is a powerhouse, and they're in the Final Four for a reason. They'll get a challenge on their hands coming, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm not surprised if Villanova had won with the ease that they did.
Absolutely. So. And Loyola Chicago taking a step and going to the Final Four, beating Kansas State.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, Loyola Chicago, I'll say it again, they are on a mission. And unlike the Nevada game, they went out there and they handled Kansas State with relative ease. I think Loyola Chicago is just feeling it right now. They felt it in the Elite Eight, that's for sure, but they are just how do you explain what they're doing right now?
Well, they seem to be a balanced team. They play good good defense. They can take the ball and post up. They have good 3-point shooters. In each game, a different person has stepped up from them.
And I think the perimeter has really what's gotten them to this point. I mean, they do well inside the paint, but they are a threat from all around the perimeter. And they've really that's where Michigan is going to have to play their best, because Loyola Chicago is very good from the 3-point area.
Yep, absolutely. Finally, Michigan defeating Florida State.
Well, Florida State gave Michigan all they can handle, but I think Michigan's tenacious defense was what enabled them to survive there in the final 2 minutes. And they're moving on.
Absolutely. So we've got our Final Four. Loyola Chicago versus Michigan.
This is where Loyola Chicago may get their biggest challenge of the whole tournament. Michigan plays the best defense of any team I've seen to this point. But I will admit that I think Loyola Chicago is feeling it. They don't want this run they're on to end until next Monday night. I think the fact that Loyola Chicago has been shooting well from the perimeter and shooting all around from left and right, I think that's going to be what enables them to play up to Michigan's level in the Final Four Saturday.
Yep.
I think Loyola Chicago, hear me, I think they're going to win a close game. Michigan has better talent, but Loyola Chicago, I just think this is their time to shine. They're going to get it done in a close game.
There you go. Eric calling for the upset here.
I am. Loyola Chicago wins.
Okay, so finally, our other semifinal game, the two number 1 seeds remaining, Villanova and Kansas. This is going to be an amazing game to watch.
It will. I mean, Villanova will come out on fire because I think Villanova is the strongest and most talented of the Final Four teams we've got right now. But I'm going to say it again. Kansas is on a mission of their own. Kansas is going to come out still with that energy from that thrilling overtime win over Duke. I'm going to predict Kansas to win.
Okay, so you like Kansas and Chicago, Illinois. I mean,
Loyola Chicago.
Loyola Chicago.
Yes.
Which is in Chicago, Illinois.
Yes.
But for your final, who do you like as your ultimate winner?
Loyola Chicago.
Wow.
It's going to be a repeat of 1963. It's going to happen. Loyola Chicago, as Dick Vitale says, it's going to happen, baby. Loyola Chicago wins over Kansas.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not going to go so far to say that, but I think the winner of the Kansas-Villanova game, I think, is our eventual champion. I just think too much talent.
And plus the fact that they're both top-seeded teams further illustrates your point.
Oh, absolutely. And whoever wins this game to get to the final will have beaten another great team. So that's why I like the eventual winner. I'm going to go out on a limb, and this was not my prediction at the beginning of the entire tournament, but I like Kansas. I like that you feel that they've got a chip on their shoulder. They want to get back to the top of the mountain, so that's who I'm calling for.
So you're going to pick a repeat of 2008. That's the year Kansas beat Memphis in overtime.
That's right.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we didn't want to ramble on too long. Thanks for watching our video today. That's right. I'm Hubie, and this is
Eric Fallati.
That's right. We are Hubie and Fallati, talking sports here at Nissan of Cool Springs. Thanks so much for watching, but I do want to say one last thing. It is March, and March Madness is carrying over here into Nissan of Cool Springs. We will have our absolute best deals of the year over the next 4 days.
You come and see us. We got a deal for you.
Absolutely. All right, bye.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Yes, happy Easter. Easter Bunny said so.